Hi y'all, I'm Allison, and I'm in a little bit of a pickle. Due to some poor time management last year, we were never able to participate in the Magical Readathon over at Orilium Academy. And that's something I want to correct this year. So, got a mad dash to get a character ready so she can join in spring's semester, which will be starting in just a month. So far, I've been trying to find out more about my character, but it's all still a little hazy. All we know is that she's a woodling. She's in a forest somewhere, and we got to figure out where. Problem is, there are 4 regions in Orilium, and we don't know where to look. So, we're going to have to find out exactly what region she is in. And to do it, we're going to need to go to a wheel to find out what book we'll be reading. So, I'm doing this as complicated as possible because, I could just fill out my little character sheet and join in on the Magical Readathon in April. But I want to try and catch up. I don't want to miss all the fun that I already missed. I want to join a little late and do it all the way. So I'm creating my character. This is part 2 in a little mini series to do that in my desperate attempt to try to get this done in time. So we need to find out what region I'm going to do. Instead of looking at the prompts that G has provided us, G from Book Roast, I decided to do it backwards. I'm going to pick a book, and that's going to lead to the prompt, and that's going to lead to the region. So what I did was I made up a wheel that has 5 books per region. So we've got 20 on the wheel. So I'm going to spin it, and depending on what book turns up, that will determine where on Orilium our character is located at. And then we'll have to figure out what species she is. But first, we got to know where to look. So let's go to the wheel and find out exactly where we should be looking at, what area we should focus in. So I've got a wheel all set up, and each book only ties to 1 prompt, but there are quite a few. Some of these books I'm really excited for, and some of them not so much. So let's go find out what I'm going to be talking about during this video. Are you ready? I will be reading a Disney retelling, What If Aladdin Never Found the Lamp? Jasmine's about to enter into an arranged marriage, and all she wants is to escape her fate. But everything changes when the Sultan's trusted advisor, Jafar, rises in power. With the help of an ancient lamp, Jafar attempts to break the laws of magic and gain control over love and death. Soon Aladdin and the deposed princess, Jasmine, must unite the people of Agrabah in rebellion to stop the power-mad ruler threatening to tear the kingdom apart. All right, so this is what I will be reading. We're going to find out the fate of Agrabah and the fate of my character, because they are going to be from a desert region. Okay, I'm going to start reading this, and I will check back in with y'all. Wish me luck. Just in case y'all want a closer look at the wheel, here it is, along with all of the possibilities for each category that could have come up. That I have everything staggered. I didn't want my wheel to be wedges by categories, so I just ran down my list, typed the first one for each prompt, and then I went back through the list again and grabbed the second book from each and just kept going until I reached the end, which resulted in a nice distribution of all of my prompts, as you can see here. Oh, y'all, I'm only 20 pages in, and I love it. It immediately took me back to the movie. It has a fairy tale vibe to it. The writing, I am loving it. I really hope it's going to maintain that. I know the story is eventually going to twist because it's a twisted tale, but right now it is taking the Disney Aladdin movie and elaborating on it, and I am so here for it. I have to tell you, Disney, or the Aladdin movie, I remember I was about to get married for the first time. This would have been in 1993. And it was the first Disney movie I had seen as an adult. I hadn't watched one since was a kid. We would go see them at the movie theater very occasionally, and always watch them on 6 o'clock on Sunday nights on the Wild World of Disney. And yeah, I got the Aladdin movie as VHS tape. And I remember I was home by myself, and I had a really small rental house, and it had dark paneling all around the room. And the room was only like the width of the couch. So it was a love seat. That's how wide it was. So it was just like this long rectangular room. And I remember sitting there in the dark. It was on a Friday night, watching this movie by myself, just being amazed at how far Disney had come, the animated movies. I was just like, the thought that as being an adult, I would be interested in the movie. I was like, no way. Somebody had given it to me and said, watch this. And oh, yeah. Anyway, this transported me back to that night and my first adult experience watching a Disney movie and recapturing my childhood. So I can't wait to dive deeper into this. But anyway, I just had to share that with y'all because, anything that can bring back either a childhood memory or a first time you experience something that vividly, I am here for it. And I really can't wait for the story to deviate from what I know. Because as I aged and got older, my son was born in 95. Once he was old enough, we watched this movie on repeat, I don't know how many times. And my daughter came along, and then 6 years after him, and we repeated the process over again. I have almost every scene of this movie memorized. And in fact, the first, we start with a prologue, and then the first real chapter, and it's Aladdin and his mom, and it's so sweet. All this for a loaf of bread. I immediately clicked on the scene, and the movie started playing in my head, and it was following what I remember with little bits and tidbits added to it. And yeah, I am so excited, especially after my last book that I read, which if you haven't seen that, I'll put a link up here for you, and there'll be a card at the end so you can go back and figure out how we discovered we were out in the woods. Okay, I've got reading to do. And are all the twisted tales this good? Is it going to hold up to this incredible start that I've got going? Or am I about to just crash into a wall and go, oh, it had such potential? Let me know. And I'm going to go see if I can find out. Okay, bye. All right, y'all. We're on day 2. I passed the halfway point, and I am loving this book. So I'm reading it as the cartoon. So that's how I'm picturing them, and it works so well. It still has managed to maintain that Disney magical vibe, but yet gone its own direction. So Aladdin didn't get the lamp. Jafar does. And don't worry, that's not a spoiler because that is on the back of the book. So once, the Cave of Wonders, that's where we deviate from our normal beloved Disney animated movie that we all know. And I am so here for it. It's such a good time. I stayed up till like 2:30 last night reading, which, that is not unheard of for me. That's when I get the bulk of my reading done because the house is quiet and I can just get lost in my little fictitious worlds. So I'm hoping to not have to wait for midnight to pick this back up, because I fully expect to finish this tonight. And when I do, I will come back and tell you what I thought of it. I will say, before I started reading this, after I bought it, in fact, I was a little hesitant to pick it up because I was afraid they were going to take it too dark. And they didn't. While it does have its moments, Jafar is definitely, he has, that ship has sailed. He has gone off the deep end. And he takes it to some pretty dark places. It doesn't linger there. There's still that optimistic, feel-good vibe going, that at least for me, and maybe it's the way I'm reading it, the way I'm reading the characters. Okay, loving it. I will be back with my final thoughts when I finish it. Okay, I just finished it. It's a little bit before midnight, and I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. After I checked in with y'all, it wasn't too much longer, and things took a little bit more serious turn, like I was expecting it would eventually. So it lost that cartoony fairy tale feel and turned a little darker, not drastically so to where I felt like I was reading something different all of a sudden, but it definitely got a little bit more real. And in fact, I stopped picturing cartoon characters, and I felt like I transitioned into more of a real world scenario. But I really enjoyed it. It did come to a conclusion that I thought was fitting and kind of what I suspected would happen all along. Although there were a couple of aspects to it that I didn't quite foresee. But if you've been curious about this series, because it has been out for quite a while, there's at least 5 others, it looks like, then I would recommend diving in. And of course, these can be read in any order, as far as I can tell. This is simply Aladdin retold, and it looks like the next one in the series is Maleficent, and it's Once Upon a Dream. So I might have to add that onto my wish list to continue on, because I really did enjoy this. I don't know if I'll give it a full 5 stars. I'm going to think about it for a little bit before I give it a final rating, but it's at least a 4 or 4.5. So a good time. And this has established which continent we are concentrating on to find my character. And that is a Dayrune. Dayrune is the largest continent, and it's mostly known for its scientific technology. And it was founded by the dwarves. So now we know that our character is from Dayrune, but living outside of the big city in a more rural environment out in the country. And now we got to find out what species. So to discover that with me, because I don't know yet, or we're going to leave that part up to fate as well, with yet a different approach. So keep an eye out for that next video. Hopefully it will be up tomorrow or the day after that. I still haven't figured out what the schedule is going to be for this, so y'all will know probably sooner than I do. All right, I will see you in the next one, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. Bye now. Oh, before I forget, has anybody read this one? And if you did, what was your thoughts on it? All right, I'll see y'all next time. Bye.